Okay. Like last time I mentioned that I was, this principal came in and had me make some armors for some kids. These kids are around like 14 or so, but man, oh man, are they powerful. Like, this first kid, named Luz Noceda. She has a girlfriend who is, who I actually made a mech armor for earlier in the year. This is her second mech armor, and she actually wanted me to make a different version because that old one was actually made by her parents. Plans were submitted to me from her parents anyways. Let's just say that me and her parents did not really get along. Her father, he was a nice guy. He was trapped in a really, really unfair marriage, if you would say. His wife was, ay caramba, she was a pain in the butt to deal with. She always wanted me to make customizations and try and throw her weight around the room, but I kept shutting her down, saying, "This is a mech armor for your daughter, correct? Yeah, not for you. You can get out of here. I'm going to talk to the fellow engineer here." And so she left. So, her husband, named Alador, actually stepped in, and he was actually a really chill guy, and he was really relaxed. Me and him managed to actually get the mech armor finished well before schedule, because of all the customization that, who was that? What's his name? Alexandria Odalia. Odalia Blight, yeah. I remember. Due to her influence, her daughter was not that kind of a person in the beginning. I met her daughter beforehand, but I gotta say, Luz Naceda changed her for the better. And man, oh man, was they planning to do something interesting with these mech armors. Now, the principal came in later when I was working on some of these other mech armors and requested some more. Now, he actually ended up having me make armors for pretty much everyone in the class. And another person who is my rival, let's just say they made some mech armors for some not so good people. Funny enough, there were actually people that that Principal Bump was actually me having designed these mechs to fight against. Well, anyways, Luz Naceda, she has the power of glyphs. That's pretty much all her superpower is. So you learn this from going to a different, pocket realm known as the Bowling Isles. And this is where she learned all about her powers. And for a time, it was actually a very, very complicated ability, but some other more powerful entity showed her how to use her powers. She also met her mentor, Ida. Now, I gotta say, the HCA, the Hero Commission Association, actually managed to sink their claws into quite a decent amount of the people there. They actually had a representative that actually branched off from him, then but created a different branch known as the Emperor's Coven and other Coven systems. Coven pretty much just being a different type of power set. Let's just say that actually really worked and has actually a very, very effective way of sorting powers. But he also branded them as wild vigilantes. People like Ida. She actually had come in and had me make her a suit that could protect her. She had this innate ability that she actually later learned was a curse from her sister, who she now gets along with pretty well. That it was a curse that would turn her into an owl beast if she ever tried to use her own powers. Originally, her superpower was pretty much just the ability to control every single element, but also manipulate them to her very will. Pretty much sort of like magic, and from like the Tensura universe I saw with my friend Karma. Now that was a very interesting place. Gotta go back. But anyways, let's just say that Ida was short for Edelin, and she one who came in and she told me that she has full control over her curse, but she wanted a suit of armor to protect her just in case her power for some reason just started to fail on her. She gave me the blueprints and she showed me some old abilities she had, but I asked her if she could turn into her harpy form, is what she calls it. Um, and also she came in a few months beforehand, or well, years actually, when she first had her curse. This is how I know her pretty well. She told me about her curse, and I actually made her a bee, a beast mech that could actually suppress it. Now, she requested me to make her an entirely new mech armor, but I was like, no, how about I improve the last one, because I have actually gotten a whole lot better at designing them. She said, sure, but I saw that she was also getting a lot better after her. She told me that she was, and I really agreed with it. It was actually a lot better from what I could do. So I improved the mech armor, removed the suppression core, and put in an abrasive core. The suppression core, like the name suggests, it suppresses abilities, but which is something, for the record, that most of the Emperor's coven uses on the other people of what was that town called? Boiling Isle Central. Pretty much just the capital of his rogue one-off kingdom or whatever. Let's just say the embracing core actually allows you to use the curse to your advantage. So, yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. You remember the Amidigo I was telling you about earlier? Well, she has two mechs, both made by myself. But her mother had so many improvements and customizations, wanting the greatest defense, offense, stuff like that. Yeah, I didn't do it whatsoever for her, but I did do it with her father. But Amity herself later came in and wanted me to upgrade her suit or make an entirely new one. So that's exactly what I did. I called it the Obama mech because of her ability to actually use something she calls abominations. Abominations are one of the few, like 7 powers someone can have. Another person who had these abilities was Alador Blight, I believe. Yeah, he was that inventor guy I told you about. Now, she just wanted it to be purely defensive and be able to be agile and mobile pretty easily. But she also wanted it to be able to hide within something that so she can just put it on directly without needing to say a command word or something. She just telepathically, really. So yeah, it was a little difficult on that end, but managed to get the job done with this mech. Now her powers evolved just making a circle and then bobbing bada boom summoning a abomination just for her to use. Now let's just say that the abomination itself can vary in size and power depending on her output. But she also has a little vial of the stuff she always carries around with her, so she can just create abomination on the fly and use it. But she also can use it to wrap around her hand, and also how do you say, create shields and weaponry. But she can also teleport with the stuff. There's a very interesting detail about it. But one thing I did incorporate into the mech for her is the little canisters full of the abomination goo. Well, that can fill up on the abomination goo whenever she needs it. So she might walk into a no activating power zone that to summon stuff, but you can't really count summoning stuff if the stuff is already, summoned. So she uses this every now and again, mostly in the fights she has with her girlfriend, Luz Naceta. Although she did want me to use some of her common outfit colors. On one detail I'm fixed about it was just like grayish purple. I changed the mouth guard to a more of a, if I remember correctly, a golden color, and also like a second layer into a dark purple along with the neck. It came out pretty well for this entire mech, and she did want to give us the ability to fly, but she uses some of her abomination goop for that. But all in all, it's a very powerful mech. And would you look at that? A new person just came in. Okay, let's see what this one wants. Okay, so this has been 5 days, and I've actually already finished this one day 4, but I'm working on the final touches right now. The guy who came in was a kid around Luce's age that goes by the name of Hunter. He told me about his quote-unquote uncle, who he later found out was actually the HCA how do you say, director there who founded the Emperor's Coven and all that. It turns out the dude's over 400 years old, and the HCA knew this and wanted to try to use him. But they weren't able to, so because of the fact he saw all these powers and thought this was witchcraft and all that. So, yeah, he's now in the Bowling Isles Central, and he took control around 50 years ago. And let's just say that he isn't the best guy with physical abuse of his son, of his, niece, who's actually a Grimwalker, and he himself has some innate abilities, which are enhanced healing, physical strength, and durability. So he wanted me to make him a mech armor just so that he won't get physically injured all that easily. So it was simple enough, but he told me about a palisman, which is a unique ability some people have that he has. So I decided to put in a special core for this kid. This core doesn't really have a name per se, but I call it the control core. Pretty much you can put any item in it you want, and it will be able to control the powers of the mech. Put in a simple plant into it, bada bing bada boom, you have the ability to control plants. But this kid put in his palisman, which is actually a red cardinal, if I remember correctly. He calls him Flapjack. And this little palisman actually gives him the ability of super speed in this mech. And gotta say that this was actually a very clever plan with this kid. He goes by the mech's name as the Golden Blitz Mecha Guardian, because he's a very good guardian for his friends and family. Well, pretty much the people who have adopted him. That being Luce's mentor and Luce's own mother, whose ability is to heal animals. She doesn't use it for healing work, she's a veterinarian. She still tries to use the traditional way of medicine to heal some animals. But for Hunter's abilities, it's pretty much just super speed, but he's sometimes known as the Golden Blur because of the mech being able to go so fast that it's literally just a golden blur. Well, that's pretty much all I got for these mechs that I've made recently. But, remember correctly, have a meeting coming up for some people that have actually want me to make some new mechs for them, or to go over some old mechs. So, I'll tell you about that meeting in a few hours. See y'all then.